number 1. KT sitting at 3-0. What a time to be alive. First pick has gone over to Hanjin Breon, though. Let's see what they're going to be evicting from the Rift just yet. As Azir continuing to be banned against BDD.
Did you predict KT or did you predict Hanjin Breon?
I mean, I kind of wish I predicted Bro, but I think I predicted KT.
Well, that's fine. I'm just really disappointed in Degon.
Yeah.
Because I know that you guys have the same predictions. So
yeah, I think, Degon was trying to protect his streak, I think.
There's no more, like, it's the most logical prediction, actually, to predict Bro here.
Yeah, I think I should have.
We're all just predicting KT with our feelings, not the 4-0 start.
Yep.
We just want to see this team do well, as we will see the Rise ban here against BDD. First pick is Hanjin Breon's here, so the Pantheon and the Rumble gotta go.
One final ban.
Varus, likely.
Yeah, that probably should be taken away, but instead, the Orianna will be banned. Does put things like Aurora in pretty high standing as far as the mid lane pool is concerned. Sort of the big 3 have been banned away.
One day someone's going to first pick Lulu, but it's going to be Annie instead here. And this pick has been pretty safe. It's a very malleable pick because it can turn any composition into an engaged comp. It can also be played with dive, but it's a pretty strong laning pick as well. It kind of feels like Annie is almost the new Azir. It just does so many things, so much utility. Lane power is pretty good.
Yeah, it sort of stands its own, and also once you're out of lane, you can always do something. It doesn't really matter whether you fall behind or not. But Jarvan is going to be taken away. Jarvan Annie, a phenomenal combo, so wanting to deny that one. But now, what are they going to be locking down? Galio into Annie is something that we've seen before, but I don't know whether you really want to be locking that one down just yet. The Varus is up, like we were talking about. That could be a snag.
I've seen some ranged picks do well into this, like the Hui in the past, but
true.
I don't think you need to pick that this early, nor do you need to lock in like a Zoe here. It's like they're just going to take the Ashe away. They do not want to give Ashe Annie Seraphine. That's so much single target engage. It's basically impossible to play into, and it was wide open waiting for them had they not locked this in.
And it's also one of the favorite picks into Varus as well. And so instead of locking the Varus without being able to lock a lane partner and then giving over Ashe Seraphine, they just take that one away instead. There is the Xin Zhao picked up for Gideon. I don't know what Namgung's going to be playing alongside it. Ezreal will be picked up. I kind of don't like this purely because I'd love to see Xin Zhao Lulu paired alongside the Xin Zhao.
It's kind of a miss for me as well because Ezreal can do well in this lane if he gets a strong ranged lane partner, but because you only had one pick left there, you don't get to have the strong lane partners because KT has 2 bans, and they're not going to let you have Bard in this situation. And otherwise, you could have tried to go for a Yuumi lane, but it's too obvious. The Ashe Seraphine in this situation, when first pick is on the other side and you lock a jungler, you're really limiting yourself, you know? Nautilus is also one of those other supports that's not a range support, but it's the all-in power we've talked about.
Yep. Has worked out relatively well into this duo, although I think does require some finesse to work out the timing.
Yeah, I think it's really hard. I'm surprised, actually, at how high prio Nautilus bans have been with Seraphine locked in. But she is also very vulnerable. If she's caught out in the jungle or on a roam, it can be bad for her.
Warding is definitely a little bit more difficult, but it sits in the effort wheelhouse for right now, right?
Syndra and Zoe are BDD picks that are just so strong in lane and can actually lane into the Annie, so the Syndra is going to get taken away. Zoe works well with Ashe Seraphine, actually, so it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I feel like you can just kind of do anything when you have the Ashe Seraphine and a decent bruiser jungler alongside it. We had seen it alongside the Mundo, but obviously not going to get that this time around, as there is the Nico ban to be taken away from Namco. I actually think that's a brilliant ban. The Ezreal Nico lane has actually found a lot of success here in the LCK. So getting rid of that's good.
I'm trying to figure out what BDD would want to play into Annie that's left available. Like, they could still play Galio.
Yeah.
Great with Seraphine. It's just not a pick where BDD can carry necessarily. It doesn't do a lot of damage. It's a lot of utility. It makes aiming the main character, which is something that's been a little bit more consistent, frankly, this season. Ooh. Mel is the other one where you, like I was talking about with Wei, where you just stay away from the Annie and you just annoy her the whole time.
This also does fit in with the vibe of the composition, right? Which is a lot of like staying power and being able to brawl for a really long time. I feel like Mel really does fit into that.
They did not ban the Bard that I was saying that they were going to ban, and so Namgung has this opportunity to play Ezreal Bard here. I think this is a vote of no confidence by KT Rolster into Namgung.
Oh,
and he's played the Pike before.
Oh, I would have loved the Pike.
That's fun as we get the blind Jace.
I thought that Perfect might even want to play blind Yorick, but instead he's going to hover Camille. But there's the Yorick. I mean, obviously the Yorick was going to come in if the Jace was going to be picked up blind, but I also just feel like Yorick fits into this composition so extraordinarily well. So I think that's a huge miss from Hanjin Brion.
I liked the Annie at the beginning because it's so flexible, right? But I don't think they built something around the Annie that I really personally feel is quite strong, because the Ashe Seraphine is incredibly safe. They played it so far away. The Mel is super high range. They have both consistent engage in AoE engage, but also single target engage. And Hanjin Brion are going to be trying to poke with this Jace and the Seraphine shields, and the Ezreal is similar story. Bard Ezreal can win this lane. And I know Namgung had a great Pike game, and he's looked a lot better here than he has in LCK Cup. He's earned his stripes a little bit. But I still don't think he's the Bard player who's going to win this lane up against Effort and aiming. And this is the debut champion for Effort here at the very beginning of LCK. I have to give a draft edge here to KT, and they are currently our strongest team. So Hanjin are going to have to make some magic happen here on the Rift, or I think those predictions might ring true.
Yeah, this is the real danger, though, if you're a KT fan, is the fact that now we've basically unanimously predicted that KT are going to win. And coming out of draft, it looks even better for KT going to win. And so I think that there's almost a guarantee that they're going to lose off the back of that, unless they prove me wrong. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, under the Rift for game number 1. KT taking on Hanjin Brion. And already a little bit of funny business with BDD making his way down towards the bottom side, just in case the bros did want to brawl a little early. Not going to be the case just yet. And so let's sort of have a bit of a gaze at how this is going to work in the early stages of the game. Because there should be shove on the top side of the map for casting. This should be KT favored, although Effort takes a lot of damage.
Yeah, good electrocute proc, but it's at level 1, it won't matter too much, as Effort will level up and get a lot of health back, and he is Seraphine. So he also has a potion, which is already drank. So essentially, I think I'm picking up what you're putting down, in that these lanes should be favored for KT. Well, if you miss that and Loki gets a stun on you, maybe you get a trade back. He's got electrocute as well. Only level 1 at the moment, but can set that one up if he wants to. I am very concerned about how team fights look for Bro, because they have 2 poking champions and strong engage with the Xin Zhao and the Annie, but it doesn't always line up and link well into a composition that has great peel. Kind of the greatest peel of all time.
Yeah, there's the rebuttal on the stun. And this is the problem, is that you then have to charge your stun back up again. And by that stage, BDD only has to wait a little bit, and then he's got rebuttal back again.
You ever play, like back in the old days, Super Smash Bros. 64?
Yep.
You charge up your Samus blaster, and then that Fox just reflects it on you?
Yeah.
That's kind of how that felt.
Well, Cuz also having a little bit of a rough time as the Cosmic Binding does connect. Does manage to get the fadeaway on the Gromp, though, as he walks his way out. Aiming will usher this minion wave towards the turret as well, as Effort going to be peppering Namgung with a bit of extra damage. It looks like KT will be able to get away with the invade for now.
Pretty strong start. And I look at this draft for Bro, and I think, okay, you got some easy-to-use pieces. You've walked straight up into the Yorick pick. That's fine. A lot of Jaces have done that and found success. You get a little pressure early, as he has now. The jungle attention is going to be bottom side, so casting to try to generate a lead, which he is doing very successfully here.
Yep.
Against Perfect thus far. The Annie pick works a lot of picks. Did they get a draft that follows up on it easily? I mean, Ezreal can follow up on it from range. You know, Gideon get on top of somebody. It's just that there's so much peel. Like, that's the thing here. You ended up with lanes that are strong winning, like temporarily winning here on the top side, right? But eventually will not be the case. And then you have everywhere else is kind of on fire. And aiming and effort have already proven that they're probably the best team at running this duo.
Yeah, they've been pretty good at putting out the fires as well, if they do occur earlier on in the game. KT have just been a pretty tenacious squad so far.
They don't know where Namgung is, so they're not trying to put the pressure onto Teddy right now. They have a control vision in that tri-brush, but otherwise it looks like Namgung's going to help Gideon get some stolen camps off here as Cuz is just going into his jungle.
Yeah, Loki actually taking a bit of damage here from B2D as well. Only level 5, but once that ultimate does come in, it could be a little scary going down that low into the melt. Still, Cuz is going to be spotted as his Demacian brother is making his way towards his top side. Not going to be able to save his Krug camp, but doesn't even get any of the little ones.
Was so close to getting one there.
Yeah, and that's a bunch of camps stolen here by Cuz as well.
The wind was blocked by the wall, and therefore did not become lightning in that situation. As BDDs is going to TP back to lane, he has about 70%-ish of his experience bar towards level 6. Continue to put that pressure onto Loki as they trade TPs. Even contesting for this vision right now for Namgung is like, I would not do it. I would walk away.
A little bit,
look at this. Like, he's like, I thought I could kill a controller. I'm like, you're dead.
Well, the Hawkshot comes in, aiming actually, feeling like he has an angle, but there is the magical journey. That is going to get him out of there. So Ghost kind of for nothing here from aiming. As Effort was looking for a bit of a reset angle potentially, because turns up, and they are going to go back to base. The Teddy is going to stick around, but Namgung is heading home momentarily.
I think Namgung would have had to sell this better if they wanted to go for the counter gank there with Gideon. Instead, Gideon's just going to do Gromp, and it's like there's nothing going to come of this. Loki has his stun and ult.
Yeah, there is the snare attempt, but Flag and Drag comes on forward from Cuz, looking for the angle towards Loki, but Namgung turns up as well. Tibbers getting involved.
Loki, man, he's just so low-key in this situation. He doesn't care, doesn't flash. BDD tries to bait. I missed my snare, better drop the Tibbers. There's definitely not a jungler there. Loki's like, let's walk away. It's fine.
Yep, and the rebuttal didn't work either, as of course, if you just drop the bear, it's quite difficult to react.
I would love to get the reflected Tibbers, you know?
I feel like the Annie has to do that, not the Mel.
Yeah, it's pretty tough for the Annie to time it, but like I guess it could be possible.
Yeah. We'll see whether Loki can figure it out.
She has to stand on top of it as well.
Yeah, they'd have to communicate. Maybe there needs to be some all chat type stuff. We'll do a countdown, something like that. See whether it can go back the other direction. That's all right. Casting up here towards his top side. Does have to deal with the Maiden now, but does have a very large CS lead and a cull in hand. So feeling very good about this matchup. Perfect has been the largest success story, I'd say, for KT.
Yeah, he's
outside of Effort, I guess, but it's still probably Perfect having way better performances.
I think in terms of improvement, it's debatable between the two. Since last time we saw Effort, it was not great, but Perfect has been playing a lot more recently, so it's in the back of your mind a little bit more, whereas Effort's kind of been away on hiatus elsewhere. So now the top lane is shifting back to the York in terms of favor. This bottom lane is continuing to push here. The first dragon has not been taken. It's actually control vision on it here for Gideon, so he knows that and is going to be able to do his top side here real quick. So that feels really nice. They're still pinned down, but it doesn't matter as long as they keep farming. And so far, Teddy is able to match CS quite nicely.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. Obviously, like having a Bard in that lane, you know, you've at least got a bit of extra range, and the laning power of the Bard is certainly something that can really help out. But still, I think that out of lane, the Ashe Seraphine remains incredibly difficult to deal with, especially when augmented with the composition that KT has for themselves, right? We mentioned already sort of the brawly extended fights being really difficult to play out. And I think, you know, once you get the Echoes of Hellier in for the Seraphine, once you start really beefing up your ability to do stuff, it's going to be very scary. But casting, if he keeps getting hit by the Morning Mist here, it's going to be a rough time into Perfect.
Yeah, he's not enjoying it. He is sitting on a cull and a tear, and he's currently crying. So does make sense. It is
should get extra stacks.
Yeah, honestly, it really should. If you're, getting pushed in and you're hiding under turret, I think it should give you like
what if maybe there should be like a little Easter egg where we got a bit of supportal combat, but I don't think it's happening. So an Easter egg where if you use an emote that has like crying in it, then you get a tier stack.
+1 tier.
Yeah, I think that should happen.
As long as it like does the thing where it delays your next stack, I think that's fair actually.
Yeah. Just puts it on cooldown.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, like, everyone is then going to just spam emotes the entirety of the time if they don't have cooldowns.
Remember old tier where Jace is just like, I'm transforming, I'm shooting stuff. Like, Ezreal is just like shooting randomly as he goes back to lane.
Maybe there should be like an exorbitantly long cooldown on getting the stack, but at least it gives it to you. Is not going to magically journey over. KT a little bit split here, but Loki, great flash to get himself out of the way as Gideon. He's going to get put into the Cataclysm as the ulti comes through from BDD. Not doing a whole lot, though, as Cuz goes down exceptionally low, but he'll keep himself alive with the help of effort. Takes down the Drake as well, and can KT do any wrong? I think the answer is no, as BDD goes on a killing spree, picking up a triple, including first blood.
How many games am I going to watch a team try to skirmish into early game Mel and continue to try to skirmish into early game Mel after the initial engage doesn't go the way they want? She just last hits you like a minion.
Yes.
And like Loki here is not in position to engage. He has to flash back and then defensively stun Cuz. And then Cuz is like, all right, well, that's where I want to be. I want to be back towards this dragon. Gideon tries to wind becomes lightning. Cuz flashes away here. And then Teddy is like, they're all low. And I'm like, no, your team is low. That's a Mel. And Teddy's like, oh, yeah, I cannot change the outcome of this fight. I think opting into this was probably not the idea for Bro, especially after that. Aiming, arrow connected, just everything went well for KT there. But I just don't think you want to be fighting into this in any case. Like, yeah, unless you had Prio and much better setup than they did. And Loki, if he was able to flash engage, which he couldn't have because all of KT was too far away, then yeah, you could fight that for sure. But he kind of flash peel engaged to then ultimately still die. So it didn't work out.
Yeah, now BDD is exceptionally far ahead. Has his Blackfire Torch now completed. Cuz also with item number 1, and even though the early game was going okay for casting, Perfect is now in a much better position with the other side of the map just going incredibly well. Means that the Yorick can kind of sit back and just start to scale.
When you get Blackfire Torch as Mel early like this, it's crazy. Oh my god.
The arrow's connected, and now BDD is able to layer the damage. There's the ulti, and boom goes the dynamite. Down goes the Annie. Find me the counterplay. Ladies and gentlemen, find it for me.
Did Loki also get deflected there? I'm not 100% sure, but he should be in the assists if so. He didn't show up there.
I don't think he did anything in order to get deflected, but BDD pressed a whole bunch of buttons. As Gideon even taking some extra damage here. There's the Encore, and the Bard doesn't really want to be brought back to the enemy team, as now Cuz puts Teddy in a Cataclysm, as he'd already used the Arcane Shift, and now it's Effort looking for the last hit. It doesn't quite come through, but 5-0, and KT, I don't really want to say it, but they're on perfect game pace.
They are on perfect game pace. They are the best team in the LCK, and it hasn't been true since 2023. For those who weren't around back then or don't remember, that was the BDD, this guy, Cuz, aiming, so 3 parts of that roster, and then Keen and Lahen's roster.
Yeah.
See the rebuttal, hold on.
You can understand why that roster was pretty good.
I don't think he rebutted anything.
No, he didn't. I mean, sometimes you just gotta press buttons.
And then this happens, but this is like watching Prime, Genji, or T1 on their winning streak levels of like Harlem Globetrotters that we were watching in this game. And that was leading into BDD, what he could do with Blackfire Torch this early, and then he's just like, nah, I just kill him. Forget the Harass Wolf was going to talk about how easy it is to farm, you know. None of that stuff matters. I just kill that guy. Thanks, Aiming, for setting it up.
Landing a lot of Qs is BDD as well, and as he does so, lots of damage happens because he's a 4-0 Mel. Also has the upgraded shoes at the same time, as he does just sidestep the Tempered Fate, and the wind becomes lightning. The footwork on this mid laner for KT, just absurd. He's dancing with Tibbers here at the same time, but doesn't seem to be worried about it. I think he was leading as far as that waltz is concerned.
Tibbers was not enjoying the waltz. Okay, well, I was trying to set this series up in my head as a commentator wants to make things interesting as the grand collapse of KT, okay? The threes are everything you were talking about. The higher the roller coaster goes, the further it falls down, right? It's Bro, they're 1-2, rough start to the season. This Loki pick is kind of working out, but we're not sure. No, KT just, I don't know, they're winning it.
Yeah, and they're looking pretty good doing so as Namgung has to flash, but he still gets hit by the beat drop. The last hit arrow! Oh, that is style points there for aiming. I don't know whether he needed to do it. I think there were auto attacks in the air, ready to kill him. But the style points do give you extra money, I am pretty sure.
It's funny how we had those fans already clapping from the CC, and then they just like kept clapping as he died. They're like, yeah, he's got him.
Yeah.
There was like a second form of the applause. It was like a 1-2 applause.
Kind of similar to like BDD like trying to build passive stacks with his W when I think he probably had enough to kill Loki anyway.
I just, you know, this is going to be a boring one-sided first game, I think, Atlas. There isn't a whole lot of storyline. There isn't a whole lot of drama.
You say boring one-sided. I think it's going to be one-sided. But now we've got the perfect game to play for as well.
True.
Which does help like keep the drama at least there.
There's just not even, like, I think besides the perfect game, there's just not even any, like, funny business, you know? There's not any of that, like, lore KT scarf, like, Conehead. It's kind of weird image that always goes around when she's definitely not excited, right? Like, you can't even post that here. You're not even excited, you're just bored by KT winning again.
Well, I mean, I think that's probably good for KT, right?
Yeah, but I'm definitely not trying to curse it to make this more interesting, Atlas.
Honestly, this should be, like, bored for KT. Maybe that should be, like, the new thing. That we need to try and promote, because then no one, that's the opposite of like being E-word. That's brilliant. Oh man, they're winning so much, just incredibly bored. Just not interested in it at all.
Bored by KT, I like it.
Yep.
You know, just...
We should petition that to the org. Just see whether they could like make that their new hashtag. Bored by KT.
It certainly does have a ring to it, you know? I'm no social media manager, but it sounds good to me.
Yeah, if I was the CEO and that was being pitched to me, I'd be like, ship it immediately. As Teddy is going to Arcane Shift. Heck of an ability. Still going to lose his turret, so it's not great news. But there are 2 plates missing on the bottom side of the map, 2 plates missing on the top side of the map. And that's it. That's what Bro have got this game.
Loki, okay.
BDD is desperately trying to make that rebuttal work. But ultimately,
look, he had that
actually a relatively even trade. Like, that's kind of cool.
He had that at level 1. He did that. He rebutted the Q. I guess that's all he really needs to do to win the game.
That's enough.
That's what set everything up. Is he's going to get collapsed on here, but he's going to have some help as well. Oh no, he's just him TPing out. I thought someone was TPing in.
Oh no! But look at this turret.
Nah,
oh no, the perfect game!
It's got a lot of plates. It's got a lot of plates.
Oh, they're just going to go home anyway. So there is going to be a little bit of a shove here. As we can see, casting moving down towards the bottom side will be able to get some plate money. But there is a Seraphine making her way up. Effort will be able to defend.
Dangerously low, though, these turrets with 3 plates each.
Oh, dear. Okay, it's even worse. As in comes the Yorick. Let's see whether Perfect can find an angle, as the Ghoulie Wall does need to be flashed here. Somehow he sidesteps that Shock Blast at the same time as Tempered Fate goes down, but I don't know whether it's going to be enough. Oh, the old flash out of Effort does not quite work, as there is a Mikhail's built by Namgung already. Still, KT going for as many opportunities as they can find at this stage of the game.
Yeah, and it's really risky if we're looking at perfect games, so I'd like KT to just kind of slow down.
No, they need to speed up, because then it's just a matter of time as the arrow sails wide.
All right, now we're down to only 4 plates total between these 2 turrets on the upper and bottom parts of the map here. So
yeah, KT have got to stop overloading side lanes. Yeah, otherwise they're gonna lose the perfect game.
Please balance the roster, okay? Now, I heard a rumbling, I believe it was in PCS, that a perfect game actually did occur this year. As Namgung is going to die, I think.
Well, he is, yeah.
But besides that, I haven't heard of a perfect game in competitive League of Legends happening in a really long time. It would be crazy for KT of all teams to do it, but it also feels like at the same time incredibly fitting.
Yeah, they have perfect in the top lane.
Hold on. They're going to group us 3. This could be it. This could ruin the perfect game.
It could. The turret is going to get given up.
BDD doesn't have TP. Couldn't save it even if he wanted to.
Sacrifice of the perfect game, Wolf!
I hate it when teams try to win the game instead of save the game.
Intelligent play. So frustrating. And there it goes.
Like, trade an inner for an hour. BDD, come on, you could have gone down in history. I mean, I know you already kind of have, and like somehow still overshadowed by Chovy and Faker all the time. BDD Classic never gets enough mentions, but you could have gotten the perfect game.
I'm still putting BDD and Hall of Legends before those two. Don't you worry.
Well, I think it might be a little late for Faker. I think you kind of already got that one.
Yeah, well, sorry, yeah, not Faker, but Chovy. Ahead of Chovy, probably. Because he did debut a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And neither of them have won Worlds yet. But maybe KT going to do it this year. That's enough. That's enough.
So
lurking around the E word.
Let's just face it. Bro got a turret, and that's probably the best they're going to get this game.
They did kill the perfect game. And so KT probably didn't notice.
Every time it's almost
gamers
a perfect
just don't
game,
care.
I swear the losing team is just like, oh yeah, well it's not a perfect game, and then they like group and kill a turret every time.
Yeah, or they group and kill a side laner and then lose the game because of it. But you know, at least we killed the side laner. As KT are just going to use Shelly to take an inner turret in the bottom lane. That is the state of this game right now.
Maybe a second turret?
Hang on a sec.
Doubling the turrets? I mean, they'll lose their Nexus, but I mean, the turret count is going up.
There's the Tempered Fate as well. As, like you were saying, yeah, turret is going to be traded outer in the top lane for 2 inner turrets mid and bot lane.
Now I'm not upset for KT because this intelligent play is just continuing to further their lead in this game. Now, some money was given over, including bounty gold. As you can see, 1,000 gold here in bounties so far.
Well, Namgung is going to take some damage here from BDD. But not going to die, although maybe I spoke too soon. Tempered Fate. Sorry, the True Shot Barrage just rebutted pretty nicely there by BDD. But it is Namgung that is going to pay the price, as now we have Loki lurking on the side. The Encore doesn't do too much, but Effort is still able to keep everyone relatively healthy. And KT have just got way more items than Bro right now, as Loki is really, really dead, and now Perfect is hunting the rest of them down. Effort speeding him up, he's got his ghoulies there. And I just don't know whether they're going to be able to escape. And Gideon, he understands that as well. He goes back in and says, take just me and keep my friends alive.
BDD has other ideas.
Yeah, BDD is not interested in that whatsoever, as there are 3 people in this vicinity, but they still do not want to be anywhere near the 403 Mel.
Well, you know, you said it early, you said it well, and you said it correctly, that even from behind, sometimes an Annie is incredibly useful. Loki was trying to be, and he had that angle, but they just didn't have enough buttons to press to follow up on it. As you'll see here, TP is actually behind them, below Krugs. Like, this wraparound angle for Loki is actually pretty tricky.
They pinged him, though. They knew he was there. I don't know. Oh, they saw him on the minion wave.
Oh, my God. That's insane.
Did they? I mean, the minimap is a bit in a weird spot right now.
I don't know if they could have seen him there, but they maybe knew that there was a possibility, right?
There were pings.
Yeah, they did ping. Either way, you know, they don't have the stuff. They don't have the items. They're empty pocketed. And so he doesn't do enough damage. The rest of the team doesn't do enough damage. And it's a cool try. And I don't even need to break down the rest of this. It's a disaster for Bro, but you know, it was a cool attempt. Nice try. Look, 2 turrets. That's respectable. With this draft against KT Rolster, the greatest team in 2026 to
and also
play at first stand.
I just want to say, if you're a concerned Bro fan, like those 2 fans were in the LoL Park audience, don't be concerned. They still rake in that Bro tax every single game, and it's about the journey, not the destination. They're not about the results. They're about having a good time.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing.
They're probably not having a good time in this game, but they'll get through this in order to have a good time another time. As Gideon, also not having a good time. The arrow is going to connect. No magical journey for you, Namgung, as he catches him in the magical journey. Oh my goodness, it's a double for aiming, and BDD picks up another. Yeah, you were talking about the Harlem Globetrotters before, Wolf. Yeah, this is that. This is big time that.
It feels like, you know, KT is legit playing peak T1, peak Damwon, peak Genji era right now. The macro is great. The team fighting is a bit scrappy for Bro, but they're just punishing so hard. It looks brilliant. It looks like they're just even luckier than you at this point.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, for Pro and for League of Legends teams and sports teams everywhere, sometimes it's not whether you win or you lose, as Teddy will lose this. It's how you play the game. But I stopped myself from saying it because Pro is unfortunately not playing the game.
No, they're not really allowed to play the game.
Trying to play the game. Like, they have their keyboards and mice connected. They're on stage here, but KT said, I'm sorry. We got you on a technicality. Your draft, it doesn't function. We have the Ash Seraphine and also BDD's on our team, and he got 3 kills early, so... That was the moment. Yeah. Like, that could be HL2 on the space.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like the space, like HL1 is probably going to be like the draft, and then HL2 is that dragon fight, and then we just call it a day. Maybe they'll come back to us early, Wolf. Like, if we're going to go to the bathroom, we're going to need to do it very quickly.
Gideon, with that crescent guard, it looked like he almost did like a metaphorical rebuttal. He was trying to turn the encore around. It did not turn around.
It's a metaphor, man. You wouldn't get it.
He was like, it's baseball, basically, right? He would wind it up after it sent out the pitch, but the pitch was an encore, which actually cannot be reflected by a Xinjiao ultimate.
And then he like pulled a muscle and then was finished off. The encore placement was just gorgeous there from Effort as well. He's got a couple of items now complete. The Mikhail's done as well as it is aiming with. Oh, there's another rebuttal on a True Shot Barrage. It's inconsequential. As BDD dash cannoning forward, Teddy almost just died, and I made a Freudian slip there by using D instead of T. The arrow also going to be trying to interrupt this teleport, but it does not quite work. They do cross in the sky as Loki is also just dead. Aiming, going to snipe him down as Casting looking for some shock blast into the backline, but the damage just isn't quite there. They might be at, never mind, they're not going to get their first kill because Effort is keeping everyone alive for absolutely forever. Even Perfect underneath these Nexus turrets. Flashes out, flashes in, Casting going to be taken out of this game. And Effort is just throwing high note after high note. Aiming will be able to rain terror down on Teddy. But there goes the Nexus, and KT continue their incredible run of form. I think there is some work to be done here for the Bros, but I do also think that KT had a phenomenal draft this time around.
Yeah, the drafting for Bro maybe needs to be taken aside. Metaphorically or otherwise.
바드 녹음. 나도
퍼져 있어.
나 미칼 있고. 파워 치다 박은 보자.
야, 이니.
풀었어. 짜오부터.
나 죽어. 짜오 노플.
제이스 노플. 앞을 돌만해?
야, 제이스. 차이 와, 죽을 뻔했네.
안무일 쳐봐. 나 힐대. 이거 힐 받아라. 파워 치면서 나오면 보자. 이제 묶였다.
이거 봐줄래?
아래?
안 죽으면은 0데스. 안 죽으면 0데스요. 빼세요.
안 죽는 사람?
안 죽으면 0데스.